quickly. Hello, everybody. Let me just get this overlay off. Hi, Marcus.
Good evening.
So, whoever is here, whoever decides to show up at this odd time, so far we don't have anybody, so it might just be you and me talking, Marcus.
There you go.
And then I'll record on the podcast. I'll put it over onto the podcast, and we can have that then. But I see you know how to mute. Good. Did you figure out how to get it up? Okay. So they just now let people know that it was live. So, hey, Howell, how are you? Can you see the chat?
I was just going to chat. Good evening.
Hi, Howell.
I haven't got the chat up yet. No,
it's under comments. It's under comments.
Comments. Oh, yes. I've got.
Yeah, you're the
Howell
only.
Foley. Hello.
Hey, Loretta. Hi, Loretta. That's who Retta is Loretta. I always out her real name. Well, Marcus is okay, everybody. He's just...
Good evening, everybody. I was just having a cough. I think I've had someone step in straight away, which is a bit weird, but there we go.
Well, please remember to like and share this out so it gets to as many people as possible, because the more people that are here, the more chances we have of actually making a connection. Okay, that's that way this works. And so that if you do, and just disregard the little stars thingy because for tonight, because I couldn't figure out how to turn it off and turn it on. It just so disregard that. But for tonight, we're just here. We're going to work together. We're going to work together.
Hopefully.
And, we actually work differently from each other, which happens with everybody. And, they all have their own way of doing things. And so, Marcus, would you like to say some hellos here first? Or hi?
Yes. Good evening, Courtney. And Mary
Courtney.
From
Nebraska. Wow, all the way to Nebraska. Hi.
Yeah, could everybody share? Could everybody like and share and make sure that we get it out there? Good evening, Emma.
Yeah, let's get some more people in here.
Yeah, and please say where you're from as well, because I'm from Coventry in the UK, but I'm originally from Wales, so I don't know if everybody will have problems with my accent. But,
no. I don't have problems with your accent. Although I grew up on Monty Python and stuff like that. So,
yeah, but they're English. Fully, I'm from South Wales. It's a small country, part of the UK.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Emma.
Excuse me. I've got a contact already. I've got one.
Well, then you go right on ahead, Marcus.
No. We'll chat about it first because
all right.
I'll be honest with everybody. I'm a working medium. I've been working for Joanne. We know Joanne from Birmingham. I'm a working medium, and I always tell Spirit, I say, don't even come close to me until we're ready to start working. And Rachel and I have worked together before and had a chat before. So let's have a little chat first. I've told this Mary to step back a little. My name's Mary, by the way.
Oh,
I told her to step back
her name's Mary. Okay, because I was thinking of a Mary earlier today, but that's the weirdness that is this.
Well, she used the clairsentient side of my nature, and she started me coughing, and I had to keep on going on mute. I'm thinking, and she's taking. Now I'm talking to her. She's taking it off me, and it's weird the way they do that.
Mary, calm down,
yeah,
girl.
So yeah.
But Marcus, would you like to talk about a little bit about how you do what you do? how
Um,
things come
yeah,
to you and things like
yeah.
that.
I always say I came into spiritualism through the back door, really, and I've been a working medium since 1985. Oh, Kelly, hello, Kelly,
Yeah.
and
Hi, everybody. Hi.
and the problem is, I think, with mediumship is there's a lot of misconceptions about it. And there's a lot of terminology that we use within the spiritualist New Age movement that people don't quite understand. I'm a medium. All I work with is sounds, feelings, and
Mm,
pictures, and I interpret that information, and hopefully we prove survival. But there's a lot of people that put this, they put too much pressure on it, and they try to overanalyze it. Clairvoyance is
mhm,
obviously the pictures,
mhm,
and pictorial, whether it's subjective or objective, whether you see it in the mirror of your mind or you're projecting that image so you see a form.
mhm.
Clairaudience, is the sound patterns, and clairsentience is the feelings that Mary's just used with me. And that's the way I work. And quite often, I think a lot of mediums, especially developing mediums in
Mhm.
development classes, they strain and strain and strain to do one thing and try to do another instead of recognizing how spirit are communicating with them. You might be stretching for a photograph or an image or a sound pattern, and they might be giving you a little feeling.
Yeah.
And it's interpreted. I keep on doing this because Mary used to do this back in the
Mary.
day.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
knew it
because
had to
she's
be.
in
I
it.
knew it had to be Mary. Now, see,
Yeah,
the way that I work is that, as you all know, is I'm primarily a palm reader. But there is this other side to me which I squashed, and I will say that I squashed it for a very, very long time. But it would keep popping up, and it would pop up, and it would pop up, and it would pop up. And I would go to Marcus every once in a while. But I think I went to you maybe two, three times, to try to talk about what is going on, right? And because I was in a I was brought up in a, for real, I really did. I was like, what is going on, Marcus? And I was brought up in a very super religious, I'll say Baptist, almost Southern Baptist kind of family. And
wow,
that and all
wow,
this
yeah,
was like, no,
yeah,
no, right? But my
yeah.
mom, she could tell you what color car was going to come around the corner, what was going to be in the mail, when the phone's going to ring, who's going to be on the phone, that kind of thing. And it was just like, what? And she'd be like,
Yeah.
like don't tell anybody else. But yeah. And so then my uncles, they're all very empathic, and I know that word gets overused a lot, but and with me, the more I just started to be like, okay, yeah, this information is going to come whether I want it to or not, because it was more so happening when I was asleep, and I would go into theta waves, and there would be people waiting for me to see other people and try to get messages across. So I was working in my sleep, and I would wake up and I would write names down and the messages and stuff. And I was like, what is all this stuff
Yeah,
going on?
yeah.
I just want
I'm
to
sorry. I'm sorry
sleep.
to laugh. I'll tell you something in a minute.
Go ahead, go right
Yeah.
on ahead.
No, no, it's because I've taught psychic and mediumistic development for quite a number of years,
Hmm.
and I used to have students wait until 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and that's exactly how they used to get it. And they'd phone me up and they'd say, "Oh, I've got this information," and I said,
Well, I never called
"Discipline."
anybody.
I said, "Discipline yourself. Tell them to, excuse my French, tell them to go away and come back at a more reasonable time."
I did that. I did that. And
Yeah.
so that's where I started. That's how it was for me.
Yeah.
And it switched. There was a big change.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
now, what happens to me is, the way I make a connection is that I will almost be led into a scene,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
be led into a scene where I can see the dinner table. I can see all of the plates. I can see all of the food. I can see what everybody's wearing. I can almost smell the food, the different, see the faces of how old everybody is around the table. And whilst the spirit is actually trying to point out what they want to say to me or what they
yeah,
want me to, what message to deliver.
yeah.
That's how it works for me.
But then, as a teacher, then if you notice how you explained it, it's the
Mhm.
clairvoyant faculty,
That's
the
right. That's
images,
right.
and you say, oh, and the feelings, that's the
Mhm.
clairsentient side,
Mhm.
while they're waiting to use the
Mhm.
clairaudient side.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
See. So there we go. There we
I
go.
love
Me
it.
and
I love it.
Marcus. Me
I
and
absolutely
Marcus.
love it.
That's why I wanted to describe it the way I did, so
Yeah,
we
yeah,
you
yeah.
could figure it out, right? So make it
And
look more
everybody's
clear.
different.
Yep.
Everybody's different. And I always say, don't get tied up on, how you work and I want to work like this person. Is work like yourself. Work
Yep.
like yourself.
Yep.
Can I start working on this, Lynn, Rachel? Because
Absolutely.
this Mary
Absolutely.
this Mary's been ever so patient. She's been
Yes,
ever
she
so patient
has. Yes, she has.
because
Go for it.
yeah, she's her name's Mary, and she's told me, and she made me cough to start off with. Oh
Mm-hmm.
God, I'm
Mm-hmm.
coughing, but it was more to do with a lung problem. It was the lungs, she's telling me. It was the lungs, and I've just noticed we've got some people from Scotland, some from Wales, Ebervale. By the way, that's just from roundabout where I'm from. And this Mary, what she's telling me that uh, oh dear, dear. I say oh dear, dear because she used to say that. She used to say that, and earlier on, she made me put my hand to my chest like that. So, when she was sort of coughing, she because it used to hurt her chest. She's saying she used to hurt her chest, and it should link with someone this side that can take an anniversary of two family birthdays in September. Oh, that was a weird one. Two
Oh
birthdays in
dear.
can I,
Two, two
I'm looking
Virgos.
through some of the comments. I don't know how many people we've got following. Two birthdays in September, and her name's Mary. Oh, right. Okay. And she's chattering away. She's just chattering away, and she's saying that she used to although the lung problems was quite ongoing. Um my mom was named as Mary and she was a smoker. Oh right. Could I speak to I just saw something there. Mum, who was that? Blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah. Could I speak to you, Red Rose, please? Um because it wasn't, the cough was a smoker's cough, but it was problems with the lungs as well, Reda. So if you can give me a little bit of feedback on then, you should be able to take two birthdays in September. And one of the things she is still telling me is that she she used to put a hand on the chest like that. And what she used to also do, Reda, if this is for you, is she used to rock a little bit, and that was just like a comforting thing. So that indicates to me at the moment there's a situation in around you. If this is for you, if it's for you, because we've got Courtney there. It's just saying September the 15th and 20th. Courtney, can you take a Mary that had a lung problem?
Oops, sorry.
Yes, and her heart. Don't tell me, Reda, don't tell me anything. Just don't, because oh dear, because when she was saying that with the coughing at the chest, God, see that now. As soon as I've seen heart like that, she's showing me different things. But we need to come out. They need to come out with
Mhm.
it, not giving us the information. I still need. My mum's me, and she's still alive. No, thank you, Courtney. Thank you.
Also, Howell has a question. Is her name Marion, but she goes by Mary?
Okay. No, well, Mary, because I just picked up Mary. So,
Okay.
yeah, thank you, Courtney. Listening, Courtney, because some of this information might run parallel, but this lady is definitely in spirit. My mum called
Mhm.
herself Margaret Mary. She had a lung problem, and there was Auntie Mary. Okay, Alison
Mhm.
Moody as well. Right, then. Well, the thing is to separate it. There's two birthdays in September, And what she's also telling me that her chest used to hurt when she coughed, so she used to put her hand there, and she was
Mhm.
quite round in the face. And and another thing she's telling me, she said, she used to squint a little bit as well. She used to do that a little bit, and it should link to someone this side because it looks like we've yes, two birthdays too. Right, I'm not quite sure one with whether it's Reda or Alison then, because it's definitely this. And oh, right, come on, mate, come on, give me something, give me. She's telling me now and again she used to dribble just on the left side because she made me do this with the tissue. Is that you, Alison, or is that you, Reda? I've also been given the birth weight of. Don't necessarily link this to your immediate family, but I've also been, because I'm trying to separate this. I've also been given the birth weight of £7 3 ounces. £7 3 ounces. That should link as well. Have you got something on this, Rachel?
Yes, I do actually.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to work? Yeah.
I think that what's going on is that there are actually two separate
Mm-hmm.
spirits that are coming through. One with the double September whammy. I'm gonna call a whammy. Two Virgos walk into a room. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I do believe that it is Loretta or Retta's mom. I have had a run in with Retta's mom before. She does have the round face. She
All
has
right. Okay.
shorter blonde hair. She was a
Yeah.
chain smoker. She there are some things that I've actually been working on with Retta
Okay.
spiritually and
Okay.
contacting that her mom wants to get through to
Mm-hmm.
the family. And Retta, she is saying again, Odd
Right.
Fellows, the Odd Fellows, the organization for the Odd Fellows. I don't know if you have that over in the
Yeah, we do.
UK or
Yeah,
not. You
yeah, yeah,
do?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
do? And she is still adamant that you have to look up the grandfather, which would be her grandfather, meaning your great grandfather, and that you haven't actually gone deep enough and you have to stay on top of it with the information because it will break that cycle that your family has been going through and your family's been going through a lot, especially with the children. And she's still concerned about Steph, very concerned about Steph. And I haven't spoken to you in eons, so I don't even know how that's going. But she's really concerned for some reason that something, just pay attention. And also with um, your other daughter, I think that there may be an unexpected addition to the family, and I really regret saying that now that it popped out of my mouth, but it's being really pushed by her, and this has popped up like three different times, and I'm saying it again. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But there you go. I said it and I blurted it out, and my face is going red because I'm angry that it blurted out of my mouth. But there it did. So there you go, Loretta.
So,
There you go.
because you know her as Loretta, is it Red Rose then? Yeah,
Retta Rose is
yeah,
Loretta.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. So, can I just give you something then, Retta? Because the lady is still with me, and I've got another link standing by here, and he's trying to push in, but it's the information that she wants me to get across. There's a situation in and around you that's causing you a little bit of stress, and it's causing when quite often we get anxious and we get little pains and things of that nature, and we're just out of sync, and it's as
Mhm.
if she wants to draw close to you and just say, look, you know what other people do, and the way in which they do it, and it's as if there's like a bit of an injustice being done, and I hope you can relate to that. And it's as if she wants, you know, I don't know if you've ever heard this phrase, more power to your elbow. And that means like the power should be within you. The power should be with you to overcome these different things. Yeah, on you've been sick because of it, okay. But the power should be within you to be able to do these things. You should also be getting a little bit, feeling a little bit out of sorts as well. And, you know, there's like an energy shift in and around you that really you can use some strategies just to calm yourself down. And I hope that links in. And she has just said to me, "Don't forget the birth weight is 7 pounds 3 ounces." So that should be around you, or you should know of a baby that was born on that with that with that. Which she's put this chest things on me as well, and yeah, and the thing is, quite often, Reda Rose, you know, when we're not ourselves, we find it difficult to concentrate, and it's as if they want to bring that calmness. And what she's indicating to me is, did you know, quite often you get this like cobwebby, oh, Regan King was 7 pounds 3 ounces, okay. Oh, I might be with you, Regan, in a minute, okay. But Reda, you know, when you get this cobwebby feeling in and around your head and it just tickles your hair like that, there's also a memory of someone that tried a hair parting and it didn't quite work. And she's just smiling. She's just smiling. She's just saying, well, it didn't work and it didn't work. So it's like I changed the hair parting, but also someone that had a scalp problem as well, Reda. Okay. Have you got any more? Because I'm not sure if I'm with Regan King or because I've got another granddad that's just stepped in as well, but they've just told me to pass to you.
Pass to me?
Yeah. Have
A
you seen the weight
granddad?
loss?
A granddad? Okay. All right. I can do. I already know pretty much who that's probably going to be. I don't know his name, but I do see him as, and he has been in my life, popping up nonstop because
Well,
there's somebody on here who he has a connection with,
right.
and that is
Yeah.
Miss, and I already know who it is, and that is Miss Natasha Foley.
Natasha.
Natasha Foley. Your grandfather has been making himself known for more than just a little bit. And glasses, pomade, everything. And he wants me to tell you that he is around you and he still wants to make sure that you go out and that you smell the flowers, that you're not smelling the flowers that he wanted you to, and that he is trying to work to get the family together. And he's actually the one that, and see what Regan just said about the baby.
Yeah. I've
So
got that.
I want to point that. I
I've
want to
got the
point
link
that
with
out.
Regan.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, but the
I've got that one on
grandfather.
hold at the moment.
All right.
Yeah.
So the grandfather wants you to know actually that there's something that you need to get a certification in. Maybe it's you or it's Hal that needs to get a certification in, because there's more family that's going to be getting closer and moving towards you. And I don't know what is going on with my phone, so I apologize. So maybe that's somebody trying to communicate with me. Oh my goodness.
That's your next link, I say.
Powering off.
My goodness. That went through my Bluetooth speaker, everybody.
Oh.
Okay, so let's just say that family's coming. Coming to dinner. That's the dinner bell, everybody. Okay, you guys are going to have your Sunday dinners again. He wants you to know that. You guys are going to have your Sunday dinners again. And yeah, look at Natasha. She's laughing. She's laughing
Right.
about that.
Yeah.
About the bell.
Before I go to Regan King, can I just check, because I'm not 100% sure if we've got the same granddad, because you know, he was just giving me information and he just showed me a big heart, and literally to me that indicates one of two things. It means he either suffered with a heart or he had a big heart. And Natasha, what he's saying is that I think it's a bit of both, because if it wasn't your granddad, there's also a gentleman in spirit. And I'm not saying this is your granddad, by the way, because I feel I've got your granddad there, but I've got another male energy as well. And somebody's given me the age of 71, so you should be able to take a gentleman that died at the age of 71, and that would have been a hard problem. But then this granddad's just got a big heart, and he's just say, it's as if he's saying, did he do something with his head and shoulders when he was getting a little bit tensy, because he's making me do that a little bit. I don't know if you can. Yeah, he had a big heart. Natasha, I don't know if you recognise that, or if there's someone there. They just made me sort of bobble about a bit. And he's saying that there's someone around you that seems to be bobbling in other people's business, where they sticking their nose in and whatever. You know, not in a bad way, but in a in a bit of a funny way. And oh God, okay. I've been told you should be able to link with the 4th of October. I don't know what that is, but there's also a birthday in December, family birthday in December. He isn't granddad biologically. Okay. I just go granddad. If you know him as granddad, you know him as granddad. I just go granddad. 4th of October should mean something. I don't know what that is, but there's a family birthday in December, one in January, and there's an anniversary of a lady's passing in June. Oh, no, that's not for you, Natasha. That's not for you. Can I just move on to Regan? Sorry to hog a little bit. Can I just ask Regan a question?
Absolutely. No, you're not hogging at all.
Regan, because they just showed me where I've written £7 3 ounces sold, and you say you don't the £7 3 ounces. It's weird the way the energies come in, and then all of a sudden I just stopped, and there's an anniversary of a lady's passing in June. That's when I was due, 4th of October, and firstborn son in December, birth in January. Okay, right then, Regan. There's a lady just drawn really, really close, and it was an anniversary of her passing in June, the month of June, and she's just lovely. She's just lovely. I know that you can take some of the other stuff there, and I always say as a medium, look, spirit give us things. We sometimes it hits our mouth before it hits our brain, and sometimes we filter it and we lay it down in a responsible way. So don't ever, just because someone says something comes from spirit, or going, but no passing. Grandma's birthday was in June. No, it's definitely a passing, Regan. Definitely a passing. Open it out a bit. There's a lady's passing, and if you ever find her, she would have passed on a Wednesday, because she specifically told me the day as well. It was a Wednesday. But it doesn't make any difference if you say yes now, or you look at it and then it comes in. But as I was saying, we try to lay things down in a responsible way, and don't ever, just because it's supposed to come from spirit, that you have to take the advice. But what they're indicating to me, Regan, is that you need to get your act together about something. Oh God, Natasha. Oh God, why I'm working both ways here.
Yeah.
My grandma's married, she passed in June. I'll be, oh wow, okay. Bear with me, Regan, because the June
There's
passing
two.
is for the Natasha, and
There's two.
with all right, okay. But Regan, the thing is that they're saying over a certain situation, you really got to get your act together. You really have to push forward. The passing is for Natasha, but Regan, I feel this is for you. That there's a situation around you that it's as if you need to get. I'm using the word "get your act together." You need to sort of get things in line. You need
Right.
You need
Organize them a
yeah,
little bit
that's it.
more.
Oh, that's that's
Mm-hmm.
the words I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Get a
Because
little
I
bit
see
more organized.
everything
Yeah,
being like compartmentalized, if that's the word,
yeah.
compartmentalized. Everything is like, okay, we're doing this now before we can do this. It's almost like you have to learn to crawl before you can walk, before you can run. And that is what is needed here. And
Dotting the I's and crossing the T's.
right, exactly. Dotting the I's and crossing the T's. Exactly. That's what I feel. And also there are multiple spirits that are showing up. I actually have somebody named Gail, but will you please continue because I will hold on to what I have.
No, no, no.
So,
You carry on. You carry on
carry
because
on.
yeah.
Okay,
It
I
was
have
just to get that across to
okay.
Regan. That's all.
Okay. I actually have somebody named Gail. I don't know if she spelled her name with AIL or AYLE. I can tell you that she was around 5'8", 5'9", had long dark hair, and she had aprons that she would bring out that were for the company aprons, she called them. So they were rather see-through, frilly little lace things that she was very, very proud of because she would actually work on them. And there's somebody here and that she can actually associate with the month of June. And I don't know why June, but June and into July too. Also, those 2 months have something to do with a lengthy illness that she had, where she would sweat a lot because of no air conditioning and everything. So we're talking about somebody that passed away during the summertime, and she was ill for quite a while, but she was cognizant, she was aware, she knew who came to visit her, everything, she was aware. But this is somebody who wants to reach out to somebody, and whoever it is, if anybody is here, I'm trying to scroll through, but she is really adamant about getting a message across. I don't know. I don't see anything for a Gale. Well,
I can only go so far back on the comments, to be honest.
me
And then it
too. Me
stops.
too. I think that's Facebook doing that, to be
Oh, is
honest.
it? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so if nothing can come through with Gail, let me tell you a little bit more about her. She did not like smoke. She was very, very quiet. She unfortunately was the victim of, I hate to say this word, but a domestic situation in the house. And she wasn't very well respected by her family because that did happen. And she stayed. And she wants to get a message across to her child, her grandchildren. I'm not sure which part it is, but this June, July thing, she really suffered and she tried to hang in there to get this message to them. It's almost like they couldn't get to her in time or they weren't interested in visiting her before she actually passed. And I am smelling the hospital kind of hospice smell of the unfortunate, the bleach that's used on the bed linens and things like that. So if nobody can connect with her, I'm just going to. This is what I do, Marcus. I apologize.
Don't
And
ever apologize.
yeah,
Just because someone.
I apologize to them. I
Yeah.
apologize to the spirit, and I say, maybe
Why?
next time,
Why you got
because
that? No, you don't have to
she's
apologize.
crying. She's crying.
Yeah, but then you don't need to apologize. What do?
Well,
You
look,
said to her,
I told
just
you
say
what
to
my
her,
Meyer Briggs was.
yeah, well, yes, but the thing is, you've done your job. You've passed the information
That's true.
on,
That's true.
and
I've
it's not all
kind
about.
of
It's
passed
not.
the
See, I'm
information
telling
on.
you off now. It's not all about Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. The
Yeah.
best information quite often is where people have to go off, and then
Mhm.
all of a sudden, weeks later, it comes in. You know, it
Mhm.
comes in, and you know. But there again, I always told you I'm not a normal medium. I'm just be a bit,
You're
you know.
Marcus.
Yeah, I'm down to earth. I'm down to earth. I'm down to earth.
Yeah.
I'm down to earth. Um, I don't know if this was because when you were talking, I got DV, domestic violence, as you were talking.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm not saying this is linked to this lady but as you were talking, I was going through the months because quite often they just stick a date in my head, and
Mhm.
and that's my starting point.
Mhm.
And I've got somebody on here should be able to link, hopefully, with the birthday on the 17th of March.
Mm.
17th of March, and this is a lady. It's a lady who's communicating. It's not necessarily the lady's birthday. It's a lady that's communicating, and she's just said to me, it's ever so funny. She said, "It's my left side." She said, and I said, "Well, you're playing with my right side, you know." I said, "You're playing with my right side." She said, "Yeah, but it's mirror image." She says, because I'm looking at myself on the screen, and as I'm doing
Yeah.
that, it's my
Yeah.
left side. It's my left side, and she's just saying that there was a very, very ornate mirror above, on a wall in a living space there. She's telling me a very ornate, where it goes up with the big angle and there's like,
Oh yeah.
like patterns coming around it. So can someone link to a birthday on March the 17th? And a lady, and she's teasing me a little bit because she says, yeah, it was my left side. Because
Was there also stained glass in the house?
I'm not
Stained
quite sure,
glass,
to be
because
honest, but she just
I'm
showed
like
me the
panning
mirror.
around. I
Yeah.
know she's showing around, but I see like stained glass windows. I
But
see beautiful
yeah,
woodworking, and yeah.
it was a stroke that took her. It was a stroke, and it took her left side. She's saying, took her left side. Well, usually the energy's just seeping away. She said, usually I work with a lot of energy, and I'm bouncing about, and she's just settled me right down, and just said, no, it was the left hand side. I lost the use of my left hand side. The left hand side of my face dropped a little bit. Thank you, Regan. But this is the 17th, and it's a birthday. It's not a passing. March the 17th is definitely a birthday. But thank you so much for because quite often there is information close, but this is very specific. If they give me a date, it's not one day before or one day after. I'm very how do I put it? Yeah. they always tell me, spirit when they say we can count. So, but thank you very much, Regan. But this is definitely a birthday on the 17th of March. Nobody can take it all well, and it's still all well and good. But
Yeah.
but this lady's just saying that it was the stroke that took her and took the left side. I'm surprised nobody can take it. It is what it is.
I'm
Isn't it?
surprised nobody could take Gail.
I'm supposed to my mum was struck less of my. Oh wow! Oh, there you go then, Alison. I've missed most of this. My mum had a stroke to the left side. My
Well,
sister's
there you
birthday, 17th of
go.
March. See, this is what I'm on about. It's worth sticking to your guns, isn't it?
Yeah.
Alison, I need to talk to you because it was her energy that just seeped away. She's telling me, Alison, it just seeped away. And when your face drops a little bit, and it's not like Bell's palsy or anything like that, but when you just haven't got that feeling in your, in your there, and it's as if, oh well, I've got
Yeah.
I have to sort of dab there because if I'm having a cup of tea or whatever, and it was just the fact that the mental faculties were just couldn't cope with what was happening with her. You know, I know you said she gave up after a while, but she just couldn't cope with it because, you know, quite often there was, you know, a little bit of depression. Said, and you can't see me, Alison, you can't see me, but I'm sitting here with my left hand in my pocket, my left hand in the pocket, and she's telling me that would be a gentleman. Always had it. You just used a BL couple of vowels DY there. Just said, always had his hand in his pocket. Always had.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh well, Alison. You know, the thing is, there's also a gentleman. They always had his. You know, when they fiddle with the keys or the coins, but it was the left hand, not his right hand. And
that might be for me.
Oh, was that right? Oh,
that might be for me.
Right, let me just deal with this. I don't. Well, Alison, let me deal with the lady because the gentleman might be for Rachel, and I'll just work on that in a second. But the lady's ever so close to you, Alison. She, you know, I know he said, you know, it's as if we've got to perk up a bit. We got to perk up a bit. There's a situation. I don't know what it is, but it's as if to say, you know, when she was going down and this was happening, that was happening, everything else was happening.
Well, I'm actually being told there was a family rift. A rift. Right, okay. There was a little bit of a rift right before her passing, and she just wishes that she could have been around to mend it, but her energy was just so depleted that she just really just couldn't do it. She saw it happening. She saw the interworkings of it and everything, but she just couldn't mend it. Yeah. That's what I'm being told.
Yeah. Alison, I just read that with her because you was careful. Because just as I read that, it was if, you know, quite often she used to put on a bit of an act. She's telling me she used to put on a bit of an act and try, but it was that what was happening to her. Right. Okay, I got it. There's a myth. Where's she's showing me a dog, and this would be a memory somewhere. You know, like it's not. I don't even know what type of dog it is. They showing it to me, and it looks like. If you crossed a red setter with a Labrador, that type, you know, so the fairly long ears, and doggy patch.
Almost looks like an Irish setter a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know the make and the model. Yeah, but she just said something about a doggy pouch. I don't even know what a doggy pouch is, but she just said doggy pouch. Alison, who is it that goes like that? Used to do that. Who used to do that? Well, if you ever find this dog, Alison, it was a rescue dog, okay? And I remember what a red setter looks like, but it's the colour of a Labrador. It must be a mongrel. My brother-in-law does that, but it's more than annoying. It drives people up the. He didn't walk. She's telling me, it drives them up the wall. And you know the like the West Indian. I've got a lot of West Indian friends, and they suck on their teeth at times. Like that. And she's doing that. And she's just saying, "Look, I'll send you a scent. A flat coat retriever, maybe, if you say so. It could well be. I don't know too much about that."
Alison said her brother-in-law does that.
Yeah. I've just read that. Yeah, and Alison, she's saying she's sending you a scent, so you must have that clairsentient side, and you just oh no, whatever. Well, why can't they send me something else? You must tell them that. Why can't you send me something? That's what she just told me. Stop being so demanding, Alison. Stop being so
Oh, it's
demanding.
Allison.
Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, dear, dear, dear.
Allison, I love
She,
you.
yeah, but she's making a joke of it. She's making a joke of it, and there's a memory as well, Alison, of a pen. I often smell things probably perfect. Oh wow, she used to steal. She's saying there was a memory of a pen being washed, and all the ink went over something as well, and that's a little nice. Should be a nice little memory, and palm. Oh, they just showed me a palm, and I thought, what does that mean? And then she said, Pastor Rachel.
Yep.
They just had a weird
That's
way
what I
they
was just
got
gonna
it.
say. I'm telling you, I know you. It's time for you to talk about the gentleman with the left hand in his pocket.
I've still got my left arm in my pocket. Right. Anyway, yeah, okay. Because they just said palm and right, Pastor. Right, okay. Right. This gentleman then. Oh, right. Yes. Well, thank you for that, Alison. It's nice to get a bit of feedback. Right. This gentleman, anyway. Oh, dear. Then what? Now, to me, you come across all happy, Rachel. I'm going to give you
No,
this
go
message.
ahead. Be
And,
full
and,
on
and he's,
honest.
oh, well, yeah. But the thing is, it's as, you know, when quite often people, they look at the negativity in the situation as opposed to the positivity. And he's giving me that character. Do you know what I mean? It's I with spirit I think, oh, come in, give me the energy, and he's, oh yeah, a little bit of a worrier, a little bit of this, that, and the other. But what about this? If you do this, what about that? What about that? And not in a bad way, but to me in a little bit of a negative way. And that's part of his character that's coming over. You should be able to link with September the 1st, by the way.
September the 1st.
First should mean something. But there's also, he said, oh, yeah, he said, I used to scratch my leg as well.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he's making me scratch my leg when he's in the pocket. You were just saying, we were talking about Alison with somebody sucking their teeth, and, people would notice and say, why has he got his hand in his pocket all the time? Why is he all... And to him, it was a coping mechanism.
It was. I can tell you exactly why and who it is. But
yeah, but not at the minute, because he's saying it was part of a coping mechanism, and I don't know if I'm going to use the right terminology now, because you know when someone's a little bit nervy and they don't know how to approach a situation. He's giving me that feeling, but I really think that that's in and around you at the moment. There's a situation where you want to say something, but you don't know the way to say it. And, you're trying to be a little bit too nice at times. You don't want to upset people's feelings. You don't want to do this. You don't. And he's doing this with my head. You don't do this. You don't do that. And I think he used to talk like that a little bit, like when he was explaining something, he said, "Oh, she said this. She said, yeah," and he's making a joke of it, and the Marx Brothers, the comedy.
Yes.
Yeah, there should be someone that really loved the Marx Brothers.
He did.
Oh, he did. Okay, because it was that type of humor and that bit of slapstick, and wow. Okay, I got that. He was a very intelligent guy.
Yeah,
he was very intelligent because he showed me Harpo. Now, a lot of people don't know how intelligent Harpo was because he was the mute one, wasn't he? But he just showed me that, and he said, oh, he's just saying still waters run deep. Still waters run deep. Still waters run deep. Ooh. He said to say it. There's a confidence issue still. That's what he said. Go for it. He does it. He does this, and he's put his head in his neck. There's someone this side that's having a problem with the neck, with the I don't even know how to say that word. Vertebrae. Yeah. And also someone this side's got a slight curve in the spine as well. Just I don't know who that is. But he's showing me that. Showing me all these medical.
I know who that is.
All right. And oh my God, he said, "Oh, somebody's had some dental procedure to do with a root canal."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh God, the taste in my mouth is horrible. He's saying horrible, and I'm not saying this is him, but you know a gentleman that literally whack dropped down dead.
Yes, it was him.
It was him because he went boom.
He did.
That's the way he went.
Yes.
Well, the confidence thing has got to be worked out and sorted because it's silly. This is his words, not my word. It's a bit silly. You know what I mean?
Those are his words. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit silly. Let's just move on. You must have problems with your calf muscle as well.
I had a DVT in my calf. But no, this was my father.
Right.
He passed suddenly.
I don't know if you can see that. You know when you were talking about the lady, and he put DVT there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So, but I'll tell you why he always put his hand in his pocket was because that in being born in 1936, he in the womb, sometimes the umbilical cord will wrap around an extremity, and then nutrients don't get to that. Blood flow stuff gets cut off, right? So that limb will not grow properly, right? To look like the other limbs. Well, that happened to from his shoulder down, so he would hide his hand in his pocket all the time, except for when he was playing trumpet, and he liked Harpo.
You shouldn't be telling me anything. You shouldn't be telling me anything.
Do you don't even want to know why I liked Harpo?
Well, you shouldn't tell me because he hasn't gone yet.
Oh, well, then let's keep it up. Let's do it. Let's do it, Dad. Bring it, Dad.
God.
Let's do it.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Let's do it, Dad.
Oh, well, what can I tell you? You shouldn't feed the medium. I've got enough weight on me as it is. Because... you know where... I've been to see a few operas because my wife likes them. Yeah, and where a lot of people don't appreciate the range of a voice within operatics. Do you know what I mean? Because people either they listen to Ness and Dome and think, oh yeah, that's great, this, that, and the other, but he showed me the opera Carmen. I don't know if you know that opera.
I do.
Yeah, and that should mean something, but it's also the name of Mike. I don't know who Mike is.
Mike. Okay, yes.
But
there's 3 of them, but yes.
And what's the one that was a pain? Or is a pain?
They all 3 were.
Oh, all 3 were. Oh, the drinker.
Okay. All right.
The drinker, and the person was reliant on that. This Mike was reliant on drink. I did well. I'm sorry, sir. Anyway, because he's just calmed me down, and he's. I used to be. I followed my brother into a brass band as a child, and he's showing me someone playing a duet.
Uh-huh.
And it's it's either like, you know, where you get the music where someone's first and someone's second, like a
Mm-hmm.
first horn or whatever. And he was saying that when something is lost in that, you're in a different zone.
Yep.
Do you understand? That
I may I?
yeah, you can now because he used to maybe do that as well.
Yes, I used to do that because
Yeah,
I
he
used to do
used to.
that to him.
All
So,
right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
so okay. I would
Love you
play.
more, love you more.
Oh, okay.
That should mean something as well.
Yes, it does.
I'll leave that with you anyway. Yeah, yeah, you can.
My when we played
Uh,
trumpets, he was a professional trumpet player,
oh
but he
wow.
also was a welder and had all these different hats that he would wear, proverbial hats. But my father would play trumpets with me, and we would do a duet. We went
Oh
to
wow.
schools. We went to my niece and nephew's school and played in front of all the kids. And I would play first, and he would play second. He would play harmony, and he would
Wow.
play a song just by hearing it. And we did it, continued to do it after I went back to New York over the phone,
Yeah.
even we over
Wow.
speaker on the phone.
I always tell my students they should never, never, never ask a question. So I'm stepping out of my own comfort zone now at the moment.
Okay, all right.
But did you ever play Silent Night?
Yes, we
Because
played
he's just,
Silent Night together, and he
I
played
don't know if you
Silent
can see
Night.
that. He's
Yep.
just put Silent Night there and he's putting a tear on my eye.
Yeah, because he
Oh,
knows it
bless
makes me
him.
cry.
Oh, bless him. He just made me write that down as you were talking.
Yep.
Silent Night. Oh, bless him. Bless him.
That's my dad. He
Oh,
he died of a massive heart attack.
you shouldn't have told me that either.
Well, because
Well,
this
yeah, but
is
you
your one
shouldn't, you
shot with my
shouldn't, you shouldn't,
dad.
you shouldn't, you shouldn't. I don't care.
This
You
is my
should.
one shot with your dad. That's all I'm giving
Don't,
you.
don't feed the medium. Don't feed the medium.
That's all, that's
Oh
all I'm
dear.
giving you.
Oh my goodness. There you go. There
Well,
you go.
that's why you
Good
were
work.
on here, Marcus. Now it's like we've been on for almost an hour talking about my dad. Now
Nah,
I'm all teary eyed.
he's lovely.
Okay.
No, he's lovely. He's lovely. He's
Yeah.
lovely. He's lovely. And he's saying, well, don't have a silent night. Don't be silent now. My girl, my girl. Don't be silent, my girl.
Mhm.
There you go. There
All
you go.
right. All right. So,
So, where are we going?
where are we going? Yeah, after all that. Woo. I just have my dad in my head. I know he's always around me. So that was fun. Thank you,
Yeah,
Marcus.
yeah, you don't always listen to him. No?
No, I don't. We argue.
Oh, I love it the way they chat. I love it the way they do it. Oh dear, dear, dear.
Oh dear.
You
So
know,
I.
when we reach an age and we start treating our parents like children, if you know what I mean. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we're the one in control. Like, you know, oh well, that's when we tell them off. But
That's where I'm
oh,
at.
anyway, we should be
Yeah,
working. We should be
we
working.
should
We
keep
should be working.
working. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So, all right, let's see here. Okay.
Any questions out there?
Yeah.
Any questions?
Anybody have any questions about any of that? That that.
Anything?
Yeah. My
I don't
dad.
know why someone just said
Oh,
in my
thank
ear.
you, Joanne. What did somebody
Oh,
say in your ear? Come on.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
Probably the
I
music he
like
used to
live.
play. He's a talker, so.
Yeah. Well. This is not your dad. This is someone else, and I'm not. I'm not into musicals. You know,
Mm-hmm.
unless it's like pop musicals or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you know the. Excuse me. Oh God, there's someone here that's having acid reflux. There's something
Oh,
acid
sorry, I'm
reflux.
giggling because if it's still my dad trying to pull something, I
Yeah.
swear.
I just got sort of acid reflux, and they showing
Okay.
me a genre that I'm not really into, which is like the musicals, theaters,
Oh,
musical theater,
Broadway kind of
that
thing.
type of thing, like cabaret and all this, that, and the other.
Oh, okay.
I'm
I
not
see
really into
big
that.
velvet curtains with the
Yeah,
huge, like the old school kind of theater kind of thing.
yeah.
That's what I see.
So is anybody this side having some problems, or know someone that's having problems with acid reflux, that's interested in likes things like musical theatre, where they should be talking and they end up singing, somebody walks in the room, and this, was it Liza Minnelli or Lisa Minnelli, that type thing,
Liza.
and they show it,
Hmm.
they show me the cabaret type musical. So that's all I've got. So I haven't got anything more specific than that at the moment. So anybody got any questions? If nobody can link with that, they've just got me.
Yeah, I
And a
think my
navel
dad did
ninja.
my dad did a number on you.
Oh, did he? All right. Yeah.
He's still playing music. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you said he was a professional musician, but what? Triple tonguing? What's
Yes,
that?
he would triple tongue a note. He was very famous for triple tonguing. No, with the tongue. Like, when you
Yeah.
trill,
Yeah.
when you trill an R, that trill sound, I can't make it. Like
No, me.
in Spanish, uh how they will roll and trill the R's at the
All
end.
right.
That you do that in a mouthpiece on a
All
trumpet,
right.
and there's
Okay.
very few people that can do that, and it's
Okay.
called triple tonguing a note, and he could do it. See, I told you
Ah.
my dad did a number on.
Like the old antenna ones that they used to have.
Hmm. Yeah.
Well, what's that one? What's that? No, that's a program from when I was a kid. Oh God,
Oh, that's the Lone
Bonanza,
Ranger.
Bonanza.
Oh,
No,
not the Lone Ranger. I thought that was the
no.
Lone Ranger.
Oh yeah, it might have been the Lone Ranger, but they just showed me Bonanza as well.
Da, 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 da,
Oh, has anybody got a
They better
question? Because
stop. Yeah, if anybody
yeah,
doesn't have any questions, we're just going to talk a little bit.
yeah.
I think my grandpa will always be. Natasha's talking about her grandfather.
Who sings "Fly Me to the Moon"?
My dad.
Oh, is it your dad? Is
I
it? Oh,
told you my
why is he
dad
still
wants to
here?
be
Is he?
heard. My dad wants
Oh,
to be
why? Good
heard.
for. Well, it's not for us to direct where it. It's not for us to determine where it goes. If your dad's still with me, because but he's singing it. He's as
Yeah,
opposed to playing it. He's
yeah,
singing it. Fly
yeah.
me to the moon. Da,
And
da,
then they
da, da,
dance
da.
amongst the
That's the
stars. Yeah.
song. And
Jupiter
oh,
and Mars.
all
Yeah.
right, okay.
See, he's a loud one, isn't he?
Black cat. A black cat didn't have a hat. What?
I understand that too.
Do you?
My mom has a black cat that keeps knocking. That she lives in the middle of. It's a rural. I can
Yeah,
never say that word properly. Rural, not a city
rural.
cat.
Yeah.
She lives out in the country, right? So there's this stray random black cat that keeps showing up and knocking things over, and knocked a flower pot that was shaped like a hat
All right.
over.
Okay. 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 Ah, come on. Come on. I don't know. We just got to chat. because he's still here. If he's not letting anybody else in, I'm just gonna. I'm either gonna deal
That's
with
my
him, or
dad.
we're
That's
just
my
gonna try.
dad. That's my dad.
Yeah.
And when he wants to be heard, he'll be heard. See?
Right. Has anybody got a question? Unless.
I think
Rubik's.
Joanne says that she used to have heartburn and reflux badly, but can't take the performance.
Yeah.
No, and here's the thing: is my what I forgot was my dad. That's actually something he said right before he stood up, and then fell to the ground, gone. Was about how he needed some Tums or Rolaids and antacid, and then he went like that, and then he went. Yeah.
Wow. Well, he's close to you anyway, and they'll tell you now.
Oh yeah.
If you know. Oh yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I know.
Well, we've got
okay, we might have to just talk about different things that you have done, Marcus, lately. You want to talk about the things that you've done?
Yeah.
Outside of here, Marcus has been a busy bee, doing good for like I can't imagine. Marcus. I feel like I've known you for eternity. I really have, and this may sound a little weird, but I'm so proud of you. And I'm very proud to call you a friend, even though we're not, like we're how many thousands of miles away and we've never actually met in person. But with the help that you do for people and the work that you do with people.
Yeah. But to me, it's it's a privilege to be able to do it. And I always say that if we're on a spiritual pathway, then quite often a lot of people want to develop their abilities and be mediums, and the psychic ability and be a medium. So the other week I went down to, finish work early. I drove an hour and a half to a service, did the service, come back, didn't get back until after the night. I'm thinking, it's not a glamorous thing, quite often when you're doing it. And I've always said to Spirit, I'll do anything they want me to do, as long as they get me there safe and bring me back. And I've been privileged to go to Moldova and Transnistria during the Ukraine war to help with refugees. Originally, I went over there 2 days after the war started, drove through Moldova to Transnistria, linked up on the border, helping international students. We had a 24-day-old baby that we managed to get back to India. And then some other groups, some other teams went over, and then I went over the second time, and we've built up a food network where we are supporting Ukrainian refugees in Moldova with food parcels if they live in with a host family. And going back 2 or 3 months ago, there was a big cyclone in Madagascar, and we were supposed to go out to Madagascar, but then the Ukraine war came in, so we had all our resources there. And this Wednesday coming, I'm going out to Madagascar to help with some housing. But then, to me, it's a privilege. It's people donate money, 5 or 10 or whatever, to these various different charities, and it's just a privilege to be able to do it. And I think anybody who's watching tonight, or anybody does anything, just be guided by yourself, your inner self, because it's not all about mediumship. It's not all about different abilities. A lot of our abilities, if we got a chance to do something, just do it. And at my time of life, I'm so privileged to be able to, in 2019, I went 3 times to Iraq. So I'm obviously doing something right, because they keep on asking me to go places. But, but I'm not saying it's spirit that's guided me. You know what I mean? It's just the opportunities have arisen, and then it's using your own abilities to think, right, let's walk this path for a while. And I've been extremely privileged. And we, the charity I work with is called Cancer Aid. They're a Sikh charity, but it was ever so weird. I went to Transnistria working with some Russian Orthodox Christians, and they were cooking the food in a Hare Krishna temple, and they were using Protestant volunteers to serve the food. And
That's amazing.
it was being supplied by a Sikh organization. I'm not Sikh. It was being by a Sikh organization. You're saying about the Baptists yesterday. I've just now linked in with Elam Missions, and they are sending food to various different places. And I just repaired a washing machine, or installed a washing machine from the guy that's run down from this big bishop guy in London within the Ukrainian community, and another guy who's going to send these big trucks over straight to Ukraine with food.
Wow.
So I'm putting them together. So it
Yeah.
can't just be me. Somebody's
Right.
guiding it. Somebody's
Right.
doing it. You know what I mean? Putting all these, joining these dots. And it's just a privilege to be able to do it. So, just everybody do what you do. Because it's, for me to be able to just join those two people together, hopefully, and I'm talking these big articles, like this guy works with, food manufacturers, and what they've done, they've designed a food for the Ukrainian diet where it's in a pouch, so pre-cooked, so it can be ate cold and nutritious, but also if people are in a basement and they can heat up water, they can be sort of ate hot as well. And you think, all these people are doing this, so
it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing.
It's privilege, though. It's privilege, isn't it?
And Natasha has a question here.
Yeah, go on, Natasha.
So if I think about someone often, but they have never come through, does that mean they don't check in? No, I don't believe so.
No, but Natasha, you say you're thinking about them often, and you're saying they're not coming through, and you're saying, does that mean they don't check in? But they are checking in. It's, you were thinking about them, so you've got that link with them, and you say they might not. You're saying they don't come through the medium, you don't get a specific message, but that doesn't mean that they're not getting close to you, and they're not sending you information. And the whole idea about people developing their own abilities is to recognize that. And quite often, a lot of people, when I've done some teaching, is trying to get people to sort of understand how spirit send us this information. Because you could be sitting there, your thought patterns, Natasha, could be, and you could get this little feeling that you dismiss. And you dismiss it because we are human, and we say, no. It's always negative. No, it's me. That's my mind. But spirit use our mind. They use our mind. They use our thoughts. They use our experiences to get us to information. So, Natasha, what I'd say is, just be aware of your thought patterns. Just be aware of what's happening when you think about this person in your quiet moment. And believe it or not, you will notice certain thoughts in your mind. You will notice certain feelings. You will, like Alison said earlier on, her mum's sending her a scent. So, Alison will smell that scent, and hopefully her thoughts will go to her mum, and that's the communication. And that's enough, but being, quite often as humans, we are quite negative when we say, oh, but that's me, oh, but this, oh, but that, oh, it's my own mind, and I've made it up, and I've made this up. And if we all like that, we wouldn't even have evenings like this, would we? And we wouldn't have it, because spirit are close to us, and they're always close to us. So it's not the thing is that they don't check in. I would say it's, maybe quite often we don't realize how they're sending that information. How they're sending that information. Hope that helps you, Natasha. And the thing is, when you feel a little tickle on your left ear, you just see that person and you see where your thoughts go. Okay.
All right. Now we have another question from Joanne.
Is there a trick to getting your guides to tell you? who you
I
go
get
to
this
by name.
question a
Oh,
lot from
yeah,
people.
I've had it for years. And I say, I'll leave you answer first. I'll leave you answer
Okay,
first.
with me, my guides, I can. There's some that I do know personally, meaning family members. Obviously, my dad. This has come out tonight, right? Very, very loudly and blazing spotlight of color, right? But anyway, other than that, it's just spirits that either just are there to help. You don't really have to know their name. It's not necessary to know their name, and that's a whole other area. I think, Marcus, if you'll
Yeah,
hang
no,
with
I
that,
think
where they would need to know a guide's name if they are worried that it is not a guide, but worried and have a fear of what is actually that they're going through, and being a medium and having help from spirit. I think that is more so a whole other ball of
yeah.
wax that doesn't belong in the discussion right here and right now. So
Oh,
just
no,
know,
I think what Joanne's asking, is there a trick where your guides are saying who by name who you're going to, like tonight?
I
You
see.
know,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
and my answer is that, Joanne, when you're working with spirit, look, we work in different ways, and we can work in different ways. Tonight, what I could have done, or Rachel could have done, we could have chosen a name. We could have chosen a name and started the link, or we could just say, listen for the information and then start a link. Quite often with me, they give me a date, or I might go to someone, or I'm drawn to someone. It's not like a trick. And with all, and I mean this with due respect, because there's a lot of people that sort of keep on mentioning guides, my guide says this, my guide says that, my guide helped me does this, my guide helped me does that, my guide gives me this feeling, my guide is my guide. No, there's a team of them. It's not the guides. That's what I'm explaining, Joanne. It is the recipient, how to get the recipient's name. The thing is, quite often when we're developing, we rely on the people that work with us, and a lot of people call them guides. Some people don't call them guides, but there's a team behind you. For every person that you would call a guide, there'll be a team behind them. Okay, so if you're saying, is there a trick for getting your guide to tell you that name, maybe that person that you're calling the guide doesn't work in that way. So maybe don't rely on that person, rely on the team, and then notice how you're receiving the information. Yes, you can be directed to someone, but quite often, a lot of people use a particular person that they recognize in spirit because it gives them that reassurance. It gives them that reassurance. So, I've worked with this person for so long, and instead of opening it up to the team that's behind that person, if you open it up to the team, then you'll get to their names, you'll get to the specifics, you'll get to this, you'll get to that. But it's practice the same as everything else. And I don't mean, I'm very hard and fast in the way in which I work. I don't call them guides. I don't call them guides. And a lot of people do. I don't call them guides. It's teamwork. We're a team, you know. And
I like that. I like
yeah,
that.
but quite often, especially when I was developing all those years ago, guides were a big thing. Know your guide, know this,
They
know this,
still
that, the
are.
other. Link with your
Everybody's
guide. Yeah,
like cramming
yeah.
that down your throat.
Yeah,
Guides, guides, guides.
sit in meditation to link with your guide. Sit and do this, that. Sit for half an hour. Do this. What? Come on. Why waste the half hour? Come on. Why waste it? And I know that I'm fairly experienced medium, but I got to a point where, in the end, I thought, does it really matter? No, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't. If you have to tell someone you're working with a guide, if you have to name that person, if you have to name the person that you were working with, what you're doing is relying on it, and it's a bit of transference. Transference of response to my mind, and this is only to my mind, and other people might totally disagree with me. Any information that I give and lay down in a responsible way. I've got a team in spirit that work with me, but I take the responsibility for the information I put forward. I take that responsibility. And quite often people say, "Oh, but my guide's telling me this, my guide's telling me that." Well, tell your guide to go back to spirit and start working with the team then. Because if your guide's telling you to tell something without that responsibility, then really, is that person qualified to work with you? And that's a little bit hard and fast, I know. But the thing is that discipline within us. Yes, people have guides, if you want to call them guides. They have teams, and you might rely on that person, and that's good. And if you get that information, that's fantastic, and carry on doing it. But to me, the information's important. It's the information. It's not who's giving it. Through having a person there with spirit there, you're dealing with spirit. You don't need a guide there. You don't need a guide there to give you information. You don't need a guide saying, "Oh, this is okay." You're dealing direct with the spirit. And if you're dealing direct with the spirit, and you were sitting there waiting for that sound to come through, and that person really sending you a feeling, and you're putting it through another person, then it's like Chinese whispers. Something's lost in it. So be yourself. So it's taken a long time to answer, Joanne, but I would say, just if we lean, and we've all done it, and I've done it myself. Where I've lent on a person, or I'm worried about a big public demo, and I just wait for this feeling, so I know they're with me. I no longer do that. I just say, stand up there. If you're there, I work. If you're not there, I don't work. And you've got to have that confidence, because it's spirit that decide where the information goes. It's spirit that decide, and deal with the spirit that you're communicating with. So in answer to the question of where the direct is there a trick, there's no trick. It's just notice the way in which spirit want to give the information, not how we want to receive it. There we are. There you go.
And Kelly agrees.
Oh, thank you, Kelly.
All right.
Well, yeah, but I don't expect people to agree with me, because you have to work in your way. And I have got very long-standing friends that would totally disagree with me and say, no, I have my guide, and this guide's got to allow this person to, and this guide will allow that person.
I say I slip up. And because around this area that I'm in, people are more comfortable with the term guides.
Yeah, well, of course they are, because they transfer responsibility.
So, and I always know that my dad is around. So I'll say, "Oh, my dad." My dad is always. My dad's always around.
Yeah.
He really, I feel him all the time. And so then they'll be like, "Oh, okay, all right, now that's a little better." And I find it so interesting.
Yeah, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But then, and that's your reassurance as a working medium. You have family members, you have that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But from my point of view, I think at times we're dealing with the spirit. We're dealing with the communicator.
Yep.
If we allow our friends, our loved ones, our family members, our guides to influence how that information's come in, something's missed. Something, well, not missed. Something. It's like Chinese whispers. If it comes to another person, then another person, then another person,
something will get lost.
Yeah. And I know people would then. Part of the argument is about, oh, but the guides protect you, and the guides do this and that. You don't need protection. From my point of view. Why do we need protection? Protection from what?
Oh, that's a huge ball of wax.
I know it is. I'm opening up a can of worms. But
bringing more people in, right? It's like, yes, let's have this conversation.
I'm not against people doing the cloak and the protections and do this, that. Not against that, because that is a personal thing, and it's a personal thing. But we have to realize it is a personal thing. It's because of your own inner fears or your own this, that, or the other. And if it works for you, it works for you. If people sit for 10 or 15 minutes before they start working to do this, to do, and if it works for you, it works for you. That's fine. But don't start telling everybody else that they have to do it. Don't start telling everybody you have to link with a guide, you have to do this, you have to do, you have to get your guide.
That's because everybody's different.
Exactly. Everybody is different. Everybody is different. And I feel that the way, quite often, the way we develop, we go through these stages, because I've been there, everybody's been there, and we all go through the same. And if someone draws close, somebody comes up to me after a service and says, "Oh, this person was with you. Oh, that person, I could see this person." I think, "Oh, yeah, fine, that's fine." But I don't need to know.
Right.
At the time I'm working, I don't need to know. Right. But, it's interesting.
It's just your team. Yeah. So it's a very interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Very interesting
maybe
we'll
go. Sorry, Dennis. Do you speak about work through your guides or directly to spirit? Do you speak about work through your guides? I don't understand that. Sorry, didn't.
Do you speak when you're doing a reading or connecting to someone? I think what B. Tara is saying is, are you getting, talking to the quote unquote guide, the person that's receiving the information on spirit, the in-between person, or are you talking directly to the spirit themselves?
Yeah, directly to the spirit.
Okay.
Directly. Why do you want an intermediate? I'm already an intermediate.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have to filter it, and then I have to put it, and I do filter it. People say, "Oh, I only give what spirit gives me."
Mm-hmm.
I think, "Oh, wow, what?" It comes to us. We've got our own setup, our own ego,
Marcus,
our
I
own
got a little bit of a controversial question to ask you.
Yeah.
So buckle up, Marcus.
Buckle up, okay.
Buckle up. Now, what do you think of mediums that say that they can get in contact with anybody? Anybody. On demand, like
total utter nonsense. That's only my personal view. It's utter nonsense.
It's my opinion too.
Yeah, because we cannot command communion. We cannot say who we're going to contact or this, that, and the other. We can send out a thought and say yes, this, that, or the other. But anybody that says that, I would personally, it's only my personal view. Anybody that says that, I would say, run a mile.
Nope.
Run a mile. Because I'll tell you now, in all my years as a working medium, we have to respect spirit. They are the ones that are in control. If they pull the plug, I once did a service in Leicestershire. So there's this big international medium that came to see me work, and I had to go and pick him up. So I did the morning service, and it was fine. And then he came to see me in the afternoon. I had to go and pick him up, in between the services, and he sat there, and I stood up there, and I did the address and everything else, and I went into the demonstration of mediumship. It was about 2 or 3 minutes into maybe a 40-minute session. And I realized I did not have a spirit communication, but I was using the psychic side of my nature in a spiritualist church. So I sat down. I asked them, and I sat down. It was 40 minutes, so I was only 3 minutes in. And this big international medium there was this, and this is quite a number of years ago. We had a cup of tea, and I took him home, and he said, "Oh, it took you 3 minutes to realize that you didn't have a communication." Because I'd started, because the nerves when you're there. And it's when I was first starting off.
Yeah.
And I thought, and all through my life, I thought, that can happen to me at any time. So for for me to turn around to someone and say, I can communicate with anybody you want, it's total utter nonsense. Because if spirit don't want you to work at that particular time, there is nothing you can do. Nothing you can do.
Right.
To sort of conjure up a spirit. Nothing you can do at all.
Oh, I know.
So in answer to your question, I speak directly to the spirit,
okay.
Vital Angel.
Vital Angel.
You say the spirit. It's the spirit. With spirit communication, but it's the loved one. It's that personality. It's that personality.
Let's see. Natasha thought that was a good question.
Yeah.
What's this?
But looking at this, so that went through my head just now. Maybe it's like a dial on the phone to someone. Maybe the answer no. Yeah, in that way, but only if you're using the clairaudient side of your nature. And this is the problem, Vital Angels. Quite often, people want to hear the words. And spirit might not be using the clairaudient side. They might be sending you a little feeling. And the thing is, the clairsentient side, to me, personally, is the more powerful part of everything. Because they can put a feeling on you, you know, everything about their body. And, you know, whether they've had angina, whether they've had this, whether they've had that, whatever it is, what medication they're on, all by that little feeling. And we stretch to see the pictures, and we stretch to hear the sound patterns. And if spirit is sending just that little feeling, that could be a starting point. If you miss your starting point, they give you a feeling, you know, like I had with I think it was Alison's communicator, wasn't it, where it was the left-hand side or whatever. If I'd missed that, you're always trying to play catch-up. Always trying to play catch-up. But that's only my view. Any other questions? I'm loving this because because quite often, you know, within various different things, people don't openly discuss these things, and this is the problem, especially with development.
I know.
Especially with development.
That's why I'm asking. That's why I'm asking certain questions. And
oh, you fire away, and anybody else fire away as well. I don't want to be controversial, but you know, to me, I think, you know, I'm a bit.
There needs to be some truth behind it. I mean, you've heard of shadow banning, right? On social media and stuff. And if you shadow banning, if you have the terms of any kind of spiritualist nature, so in divination in your name, or if you use those keywords to describe something that you're going to post, they will put that post lower, and also you lower in the algorithm of their whole social media platform, so that less people will see it. Because legally they can't get you off of their platform because you haven't done anything wrong. But what they can do is make it so that you're less popular.
Oh yeah, at Lisa, is it Elisa? That's Alyssa. That's a beautiful question. That's a fantastic question. Do spirits come anytime, or do you have something that you can bring them on? Well, basically, you've got to have inner discipline.
Yeah.
Okay. Never, ever, ever. If you're developing as a medium or a psychic, never, ever be what I call a dripping psychic or a dripping medium, where you're constantly in tune all the. Depending on what, you know, how your development has gone. Basically, an example is tonight, Rachel and I's come on, and we've already sent out our intention, saying that we are going to be working from this time to that time. So basically, we offer ourselves as channels, and spirit can come at any time. And the thing is, as Rachel mentioned, I used to have students and used to wait until I was up in the morning just to tell me that spirit woke them up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'd say, tell them to bugger off. Tell them to come back at 7 o'clock in the morning, or 7 o'clock in the evening.
To be fair, Marcus, I never called anybody up to say that. When it happened to me.
But the point is, the point is that, and especially linking into the question, if you set a time with spirit, if you set a time that
Yeah.
say, I am going to be receptive at 7 o'clock in the
Oh.
evening, but people won't do it because they think,
Here,
oh,
let me
they might
tell
not
you
talk to
something.
me.
Let
They
me
might not
tell you
talk to
something.
me.
I won't name a name, but there is this really, really internationally known
Yeah,
medium, right?
yeah,
And he's had many books. He's had many
yeah,
movies. He's written television series and things like that, right? And he has his own quote unquote school, right, of
yeah,
stuff that he teaches and things, and the costs way beyond way is out there, right? And I decided when I was having trouble sleeping, because what Marcus was referring to was something that he and I were talking about before we went live, how and I squashed down being open to spirit so much that when I would try to sleep, that's when I would be doing work. I would get down into theta waves, and all of a sudden it was like, okay, come on, we're gonna go do this now. We're gonna do this. There's this person that, and they want to do what? And I would be like bombarded with like tons and tons of spirits, energies, you name it, right? And so then in the morning, I would write down some of the stuff I remembered, and I'd look at it, and I'd be like, what is this? What is this, right? And so I actually signed up, paid my money for this Zoom session with this very internationally known person. And it was like a semi class, right? And on how to do a meditation to get ready for a mediumship and stuff. So
yeah,
to try to like
yeah, yeah,
compartmentalize,
yeah,
like we talked about before, right? Put parameters on things. Well, I went through the meditation and everything, and and he wanted to know, did anybody have anything happen to them while they went through the meditation? I raised my good old hand, right? I'm just like, yep, Rachel does, right? And he said, well, out of like the 1,000 people, little plethora of faces everywhere in
mm,
Zoom, right? Oh, I think Rachel, is that her name? Rachel G has a question. So I asked my question. And you know what he said to me? Instead of giving me any type of advice, he said, you're like the wheel bearings of a ceiling fan that's turned on all the time. You're going to burn out.
yeah.
And then I just got kicked out of the Zoom and they wouldn't let me back in.
Oh,
After I told him what had happened when I went into the
yeah.
meditation. And I was like, well, that wasn't very nice. That wasn't,
It's, it's,
that
it's
wasn't very
bonkers, isn't it?
nice.
Bonkers, bonkers.
I mean,
Well, the problem developing psychics and mediums have, one of the biggest problems is doubt, and they doubt themselves and they doubt spirit, and unfortunately quite often then is if spirit come to them, they think, oh, I've got to answer it now, I've got to answer it now, and
mm-hmm.
I've got to be, quote, open or receptive or whatever terminology you want to use. Now, the thing is, and I understand when people are developing their psychic abilities and they hone in their psychic abilities, and especially when you start working mediumistic, that you have that little bit of excitement as well. I always liken it to a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
You have that excitement, oh, and a little bit of scariness, and then whoa, and then you go down and down and down. So the thing is like the adrenaline rush or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, people think if they say no, then spirit won't communicate them, which is the biggest load of rubbish ever. What you have to do, you only need three things to be a working psychic or a working medium. That's discipline, discipline, and discipline. You have to discipline yourself. You have to have that discipline with the communication with spirit, and you have to have that discipline to say that you were going to deal with any information, whether it's psychic or mediumistic, in a responsible way. So it's discipline. And if you have that inner discipline, then you say, righto, I know you're there. If it's a spirit communication, I know you're there. I know you want to get information across, but I have my physical life to lead as well. This is 3 o'clock in the morning. You're interrupting my sleep patterns. Yes, and the reason that they do it is because you're in an altered state of consciousness, and it's just that's why people go into a meditation, because you're in an slightly altered state of consciousness. So that's when the information comes through. But what you can say is, I am prepared to sit on this day at this time and put myself in the same state I am now, a slightly altered state of consciousness. So then what you do is say, right, I'm going to be there on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. This is why if you're in the development circle, the worst thing you can ever do is turn up late. I can remember running the development circle in the church. I say that door closes at 7 o'clock. We sit down. By 5 past, we're doing the work. And I can remember someone knocking the door at 7:10, wouldn't open it. Everybody in the circle was feeling a little, should we open it? Should we open it? Say no, because they're late, because they can go and sit in the car, meditate in the car if they want. They were late. They missed that. They missed that time span, irrespective of what had happened. For that time, what they should have done, shouldn't have knocked the door. They should have just said, righto, sit in the car, sit in meditation, enter into the altered state of consciousness, and you still get the communication. But people are frightened. Oh, but if I deny spirit, what you have to do, you have to have that inner discipline. And that's the way you get the quality, not the quantity. It's not about quantity. It's about quality.
Please, somebody needs to make a bumper sticker about that. And
yeah,
but I don't know.
And we've all got different views. But the thing is, if you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like what we call a tripping psychic and whatever, you're on burnout. You're on the road to burnout.
You're on the road to burnout. That was I fully admit that was me. It was me.
Yeah. It's happened to us all, and it's the reasoning that literally. Do you ever see spirits all the time, Alicia? All the time.
Oh yeah.
But when we say we see spirits, but when the question is, do you see them subjectively or objectively? If you see them in the mirror of your mind and you got that information, that's when you see spirit. If you see a spirit as if it's a physical form, then it's only what we call objective clairvoyance, because you're projecting that image to see the spirit. Because if the spirit was there and everybody saw it, then that would be physical phenomena. I remember when spirit would talk so much when I used to go to bed, it would be impossible if I had to take charge and put a stop. Exactly, Joanne. Exactly. You have to take charge and put a stop to it. You say I asked my angels to intervene. I wouldn't have asked. I believe in the ministry of angels in a technical sense, but I wouldn't ask angels.
You just would have gone straight to the source.
Yeah, go straight to the source. Say, bang, stop it. And there's, as I said, I believe in the ministry of angels. In the broader sense, but not in the individual sense. And it's great that you took charge, and whatever charge that takes. If you had to ask certain people within spirit to do it, that's fine. But I would say you do it yourself. Just say stop. That's it.
I think that whatever makes you comfortable in what you are doing, I think that also adds more energy and to almost that discipline that you keep talking about. I'm going to call it a boundary. That discipline, I'm going to call it a boundary. So it adds more energy to that boundary. If like Joanne went to her angels, that she's comfortable speaking to the angel council, then that's going to add even more energy to that boundary for her. And if you just do something that you're unsure of, then
Well,
Uh,
I couldn't help pulling the face. Then I don't think it that individually different,
mm-hmm.
but no. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't say.
Go
Maybe I
ahead and
shouldn't say.
say, Marcus.
Yeah,
Go ahead and
yeah.
say it.
Why,
Yeah.
why why are we going to anybody in spirit to discipline ourselves? It's up to us. It's our responsibility. It's our responsibility. Nobody else's. You don't go to a helper or part of the team in spirit and say, "Oh, stop them doing this, stop them doing that." It's our responsibility, not theirs. And yeah, by all means, and I don't mean to be flippant. If you work with a guide and you rely on that guide, you work in technical. As I said, I do.
Marcus, can I sick you on the guy that told me that I was going to burn out like a ceiling fan?
Yeah, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't charge for it. You know what I mean?
Just.
Yeah, but like Alicia said, I saw space my old childhood into teen years and shut my brain off to it. The thing is, Alicia, when we're younger, we are more receptive because we haven't got the prejudices and the fears that we have as we grow. And the thing is, now you would just see in a different way if you are more receptive to it. You might see in a different way. But that is just you in some where you say I shut my brain off for it, is you install discipline to say I don't want to see them. And that's it. And that's
And
what you do.
that's what I
That's all you
tried
have
to
to do.
do for so
Yeah.
long. I tried.
As I
Failed.
see and talk
Tried.
and work with me, says, yeah, of course it does, Joanne. As is, you see and talk with angels, of course it does, and it's whatever works for you. And as
Yeah.
I said, is if people work with what they call angels, and people work with what they call guides, if that works for you, works for you. That
Yeah.
and that's 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But from a personal view, I just think no, it's my responsibility. It's me. If I want to install discipline, bang, I do it. Who the teams in spirit, we call them what you like. If a team in spirit wanted to put a rock in front of you and say the rock was talking, then if that works, that works. It's the information that's important. It's not who you're working with, whether you're working with various different people in spirit, be it whatever we call it.
Something
But
happened.
whatever works for you, and if it works for you, I think brilliant, brilliant. But by the same token, the terminology we use quite often within the movement gets misinterpreted. You know, some people will say, "What is an angel?" Yeah.
Oh boy, another ball of wax, Marcus.
Oh yes, but in answer to that question, it's good to know you can do it either way. Of course you can, Joanne, because you're receiving information. You receive information, and if you're receiving information, irrespective of the team or what we call a team or how they present themselves to you, because don't forget, a lot of people in spirit that are working in your team will present them in a way that's all right for you. So in a technical sense, if they think you are comfortable working, quote, with angels, then that's how they'll approach you. If
Right.
it's a specific guide, that's how they will approach you, because they will think, well, if we've got to give that person that reassurance or that comfortability, I don't even know if that's a word, so they feel
We'll make
comfortable
it one.
working in this way, then that's what they'll do, because they want you to work. They want you to share that knowledge, share that whatever. So whichever, it is Natasha, it is a rabbit hole, and I've been down this one many, many times. I've been down it many times, and my views are just my views. It's not to say that I'm right. I just think one of the things within spiritualism is personal responsibility. I believe I'm responsible for my actions, my thoughts, and my deeds. I don't push any responsibility onto the team in spirit, irrespective of what you want to call those teams. And, the people, I personally think if a person in spirit has to give me a name or they position in spirit, I don't think I'd want to work with them personally.
No.
I just want to know that they're in it for the right reasons. It's the motive and the information.
No, because then for me, it's almost like thou doth protest too much. It's like that. It's like, I don't know. I'm not too sure about that. If somebody has to insist about who they are.
Joanne's asking, have you ever seen a unicorn?
Have you ever seen a unicorn? You're in Wales, so have you ever seen a unicorn?
What is a unicorn? What's a unicorn?
What's a unicorn? Rabbit.
What's a unicorn?
You don't know what a unicorn is? Come on now. You know what a unicorn is.
What? Where did the term unicorn came from? How many rabbit holes do you want to go down?
I'm from the Midwest.
In the technical sense, people have different view about angels.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the Christian angels will have wings.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you look on it, then technically that came at a certain period, because how people would interpret how they come from the heavens. So they have to put wings in because they can't.
Well, the Pegasus was the one that had wings, right? Yeah. Not the unicorns. The unicorns just have the horns.
No. I'm talking about angels per se.
Okay, and again,
people put wings on them. But why do you put wings on an angel? Yeah. Why would anybody have wings on an angel? They never had wings. Technically, they never had wings. They come centuries later, and then somebody drew them with wings, and then all of a sudden now this modern day view of angels is that they have wings, so and that they're angels, and they're on a certain sphere, so in the technical sense of a unicorn, what is a unicorn?
Let me ask you, Marcus, have you heard about how we are leaving 3D and going to 5D, and how the dimensional shifts and all this rabbit hole stuff? Have you kept up on all that? And do you think that there was a dimensional shift, and if so, into which dimension?
Why?
That's what everybody wants to know on TikTok.
Yeah, well, of course they do, because this is the thing is, and as I said, and I don't want to be controversial. I really don't, because I've got hard and fast views to know they're supposed to be. Look, quite often, when anybody's developing anything, especially mediumship, you're dealing with something that's other than the physical five senses. When people are dealing with mediumship and they're dealing with information coming from another source, everybody wants to put it on a level that it's not. It's a higher level. And I don't mean to be dismissive, honestly, I really don't. But they want to say that they are communicating with someone in a different dimension of level. I'm sure you've heard of the levels, the
that's why I asked
all the different levels and all the different dimensions. And because they want to make it mystical, they want to make it as if they are special because they can communicate with this particular level. You're communicating with spirit.
It's not a video game.
Exactly. You don't get a prize for mentioning a name. You don't get a prize. You don't get a better communication. You don't get the name of the spirit because the name of this person or this guide or this elevated person. You don't get better information. All you're doing is trying to build yourself up. And
Mhm.
ultimately, whether it's ego or whatever, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be the best medium and the communicator. Absolutely nothing wrong with that, because you want to give that information in a responsible, altruistic way. But trying to tell people that you're communicating on a different level and a different, but this,
That's
because you
like
don't
I'm up
understand that.
here and you're
Yeah,
down here.
exactly.
Mhm.
And if you don't agree with me and you don't understand, it's because you're not at
Because
that
you're
level.
down there
Well,
and not up
that's a
here.
utter
Mhm.
nonsense. Utter nonsense.
Mhm.
To me,
Mhm.
that's my personal view. It's utter nonsense. All the, some of the different dimensions and this, that, and the other. They want to say it to elevate something up there or some other information, and we don't understand. It's like if you take quite often in history, within the last century, where
Mhm.
you have sects, and this person says that only we know this because we are within this sect, and people
Mhm.
don't understand us, and they have not got that spiritual knowledge, or they don't understand that, and all it's doing is saying that they are something that they're not.
Mhm.
So from a personal view, I tend to think that if we are communicating with spirit, which we are, the easiest way is to prove survival.
Mhm.
And if you prove survival, your job as a medium is done,
Yep.
because the responsibility then passes on to the recipient, because then they have to structure their life around that knowledge of a continuation of life for all. And I think that's the drive to be a medium, is to prove to something, that communication, to say, I've communicated with someone that has lived. Now you've had that evidence. Forget about the tears, forget about them. You structure your life now, here and now, in this physical and spiritual body, around that knowledge, that when that body falls away, you, you as that individual that has that spark of divinity within you, continues on. And that's what we should be about.
Wow. I love that. I do love that. I think that's where we're going to leave
Yep.
this because that was very poignant. Very, very poignant. So, Marcus, would you like to do this again sometime?
Oh, I'd love to do it. Love to. I
Yeah.
love you look, with SBTV, Spiritual Cycles TV. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I can remember when we were a couple of, was a year ago, 18 months, 2 years ago,
Oh,
and they
yeah.
said,
It's
"Oh,
been
well,
two
who's your,
years. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and then they says, "Oh, who's your favorite?" We're not supposed to have favorites. We're not supposed to have favorites. And I and it and as I said, it hit my mouth before it hit my brain. And I said, "Well, Rachel, she's my bestie. She's
He
my
did.
bestie."
He did.
I
And
know
Richard was like, "You're not supposed to do
you're
that."
not supposed to say that.
And all of our
And
headphones.
over the years, and honestly, and I will be 100% honest with you, I used to sign on when you were there, and I just have you on
Oh,
with my
thank you.
AirPods like that, looking this, that, the other, because you're my bestie. You're my bestie.
Oh, thank
I
you,
love you to bits,
Marcus.
I just
Thank
love
you.
your approach. I could listen to you all night, and it's you're in it for the right reason. You're in it for the right reason.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Oh,
So we will definitely do something like this again. And I think I will go ahead and actually put this on my podcast and try to
yeah.
get that thing going again. So
I,
people
we
can listen to it because there's a lot of really, really good, deep, meaty information that I think needs to get out there. So I will download it and then upload it again to
And
Spotify,
there's another big rabbit hole. What are your
which
thoughts about reincarnation? Oh wow! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! We could talk an
oh,
hour
we can
on it,
talk
an hour
rabbit
or so
holes.
on that.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh my goodness! I
oh,
love that one. I
at
love
the
that one.
end, you have to do that at the end, B Tara. Oh, that might be the whole next show. I don't know. Maybe we
Yeah.
have themes. I don't know.
Yeah.
A rabbit hole a day. I don't know.
But I would say, please, everybody, look, if you're developing, and fine tuning the psychic side of your nature, your mediumistic side of your nature, whatever works for you. But just understand it works for you. Don't
Mm-hmm.
try to
Mm-hmm.
think just because it works for you that it's going to work for everybody else, because
Yeah.
we're all
Mm-hmm.
different. We're
Mm-hmm.
all different. We're
And we
all
need to be
different. And
more
discipline.
open-minded about
Ah,
that as well.
what?
Come
No,
on
come on.
now.
This industry, with the people, this industry will never be open-minded. They've got to keep things closed because they want to make more money, Rich. I mean, come on.
Listen, I was trying to be
It's got to be
nice.
mystical. It's got to be
Look,
mystical instead of being down to earth and throwing the nonsense out there. It's
that's true. There's they have to make more money.
oh dear, dear,
Oh
dear.
my gosh.
I know.
All
And
right,
and
that was
yeah,
that was spicy. Okay. As they say, as the kids say, that was a spicy comment.
oh yes, oh
All
yes, oh
right,
yes.
Marcus. Well, thank you very, very much, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
My
Okay,
pleasure.
thank you. Now, I really want to thank everybody that showed up, everybody that hung in there, and we will do this again. And you will be notified by Facebook or YouTube or wherever. Okay, and I bid you goodbye, everybody.
Everybody, and thank you so much.